All right. Just get this started. Hi, Ty. Hi. Oh, wow. Hi, guys. Oh, here we go. Alrighty. Let's just make sure this stays up. Hopefully, I won't start knocking things down. All right. Sorry it took me a minute, guys. I had to get my drink. You guys know me. When I start talking, I don't stop, and I need to make sure I have a drink. Hi, Ty. Hi, EJ. Amanda's here. Oh, how's everybody doing? It's hot. It's humid. Oh my gosh. When is summer going to be over already? Whew. All right. So we're going to give it a few more seconds. Well, I'll give it about another minute. And then we're going to get into it because, guys, we're going to talk about some stuff. Okay. We're going to talk about some stuff. I actually decided to, you know how I always wing it? Well, I decided today to talk about a few things that I know that a lot of people, hi, official, hi, sweetheart. I know a few people wanted to talk about, and it might pique a lot of interest. So stick around for it, guys. Stick around for it. So we'll give it, well, I'm going to have to timestamp it, and we'll give it about another minute, and then we'll get into it. I'll get into the intro, and I broke a nail, guys. I broke a nail. I didn't even realize I broke a nail, but I feel kind of like, but little man. It's my son. All right. So I'll timestamp it in, guys. It's 3 minutes after. I'll timestamp it up at 3 minutes. So we'll just get started on it. Welcome to Intuitive Vibes Narc Survival 101. It is your girl Erica here. If you're new to the channel, please stick around for today's live. You may hear something that you may need to know pertaining to your situation. And, well, listen, if you don't get what you need from this particular live, you'll get what you need from any other live that we do. We do it every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are new to the channel, give yourself a shout out. Say hello. Everyone will welcome you with open arms. And, of course, to my existing subscribers, welcome back, guys. And just a little bit of forewarning, I should say, because I'm really not trying to go through what we went through last week. If you are looking to troll, bully, intimidate, or just be a flying monkey in this community, I will advise that you do not do that. And I mean that within this live chat and, of course, when it streams, because my mouth is very reckless, okay? God isn't through with me yet, so trust me. I will use what I have been blessed to use on you. That's a forewarning. And I also wanted to give a trigger warning. All right, guys, because what I'm going to be talking about, you guys know me. You know I like to keep it 100 with you. I'm very blunt. I'm very honest. I do not sugarcoat. I like to make sure that it is well understood. So I'm going to give a trigger warning on this particular live because some of the things that I am going to be speaking on, you know, some people who come in may just be experiencing the situation and they are looking for information. And yes, the information can be quite triggering. So I am going to put a trigger warning on this particular live as well. So guys, let's just see. Hi, Onitha. So different people will be pouring in at different times, which is fine. Okay, when it gets streamed, for those who can't make it to the live, we'll always be able to catch it on the stream. So it is perfectly fine. So guys, there are a few things that we are going to talk about. I mean, besides what we normally get into as far as questions and, of course, you guys putting in your input. The first thing that we are going to talk about, we're just going right into it, okay? The first thing that we're going to talk about is your narcissistic ex, okay? We're going to talk about your narky ex, narcissistic, your narcissist, your ex who has NPD or may suffer NPD, you know, your narcissistic ex who has narcissistic traits, however way you want to put it. We're going to talk about that. And what we're also going to talk about are a few myths, okay? Because we're going to be debunking some stuff. when it boils down to narcissists and, of course, their habits and their tendencies. And we're going to talk about the narcissist when they're seeking revenge. Okay? Yes, they do seek revenge, guys. It's within that deep, dark, pitless, bottomless soul that they have. So we're gonna definitely get into it. Hi, Chatan. Hi, long time no speak. Hope all is well with you. Okay. So, guys. All right. So everybody is coming in little by little, and we're just going to just give me a second, guys. I have my laptop in front of me. I have my mic and, of course, my phone over here. So periodically I will be checking on different people commenting and, of course, giving their input and, of course, asking questions. Okay. So let's get into it. I feel so weird without my nail. I really do. The first thing we're going to talk about, again, is the narcissistic ex. Okay. And I want people to understand something, especially those who are just now experiencing narcissistic abuse, or, you know, just now realizing that they have experienced narcissistic abuse. One of the things that we have to understand, okay, and let's be very clear on it. For someone to classify as a narcissist, they have to be demonstrating certain characteristics, certain traits, and a number of characteristics and certain traits. So your ex may have been a narcissist, your ex may have been extremely narcissistic, or your ex may have just been a real complete asshole. It could be, you know, but either way you look at it, if you're here just to gain some kind of knowledge and, of course, gain some information, you came to the right place. So now, when it boils down to your narcissistic ex, okay, and we're talking about when you, like, got involved with them, you started dating them, you know, up until, of course, the discard, whether it be you discarded them or they discarded you. Here are, you know, a few things that we have to understand about these people. And when it boils down to it, things that we have to come into acceptance with, as far as accepting the kind of people that they are. Number one, if your narcissistic ex, your narcissist ex, okay, sat there and told you that there was nothing going on with their ex, there is nothing happening between them and their ex, they are just friends, you know, they're just basically, they don't like to hold grudges, they don't like to keep, you know, they like to just basically keep the peace when it boils down to the people in their lives, and, of course, that includes their exes. Understand something. They either, and it doesn't matter how long ago it was, okay, because it could have been way before they met you, it could have been during the time that they were courting you, it could have been any time. They're still dealing with their ex, okay? They're still dealing with their ex. And whether they had children with their ex, whether they didn't have children with their ex, they are still dealing with their ex. Now, here's why a lot of people, and you can, you know, go around and find out for yourself too. When your narcissist ex was describing to you the details that had gone on between them and their ex, okay? And whether they were talking really brutally about their ex, or they were speaking in a way where they felt so betrayed by their ex, whichever way. If this person is in fact a narcissist, and let's just say their ex was a non-narcissist, more than likely they were still dealing with them. They were either running the hoovering on their ex, they were continuously manipulating their ex to keep them in the dynamic, pretty much like what they were trying to do with you when they told you, let's be friends, let's remain friends, let's stay in each other's lives. And more than likely, in the interim of, even prior to meeting you, they were gaslighting their ex, okay? Giving their ex false hope, giving their ex, you know, false promises, future faking, whatever the case may be. If they tell you, well, this person is in my life, they've been in my life, they're going to be, you know, we're just friends, nothing is going on, nothing is happening, but yet there was something in the pit of your stomach that really didn't just sit right with you as far as that dynamic is concerned. And of course, this is at the time that you didn't know they were narcissists, or you didn't know what their tendencies were. Chances are that was your intuition screaming at you. It was your intuition telling you that this is not right. This dynamic, what's happening here is not right. And the reason that is because at the time they were giving you the description of how horrible their ex was to them, how horrible the relationship was, and how manipulative and how much of a liar their ex was. Your intuition was screaming at you. If that was the case, why are they still in each other's lives? If that were the case, see, that's like your clue right there. That was like the biggest red flag right there. If that was the case between that person and their ex, why would they work so hard to keep that person in their life? Let that resonate with you. Let that be that big red flag for you. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people being friends with their exes. If that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. I'm not knocking anyone for it. I personally do not prefer that. I personally prefer to just keep my distance from anyone in my past. But when it boils down to a narcissist, when they say, well, me and my ex are still friends, after they've given you the whole spiel of how their ex completely manipulated them, lied to them, cheated on them, did all kinds of things to them, you could either be dealing with an inverted narcissist, which is a codependent, covert narcissist who deals with people, because it could be true, but you remember, regardless of the fact, you're still dealing with a type of narcissist. So it doesn't really matter in regards to what type you're dealing with a narcissist. And the bottom line when it boils to a narcissist is manipulation, okay? Deceit, dishonesty, disloyalty. That's what it boils down to. If that was not the case and you're dealing with a narcissist, they were clearly lying to you. They were clearly lying to you about the true definition, the true nature of their relationship with their ex, okay? They're still holding on to that person. They're still keeping that person around for a reason. And it just so happened that while they're still holding on to that person and they're manipulating them and hoovering them and they're going through repetitive cycles with them, you were the new supply. Okay, you were the new supply that caught their eye. You were the new supply that, I don't know, maybe you were eye candy. Maybe there was something about you that attracted them. Maybe you were something different. You were something, you were someone new, and it just, they kind of fell into it, whatever their reasons were. Chances are, if they're still friends with their ex, and if you are dealing, in fact, with a narcissist, chances are they're still dealing with them. Let's see. Hi, Cicely. Onitha. Cicely, we were never friends. Friends don't do that to you. I'm good. I'm good if we never talk again. Yeah, I mean, you listen, if you break up with your ex, you end things with someone that you were in a relationship with. And considering, I don't know anyone who, unless you are extremely codependent, extremely insecure, and you are just so, you unless you're an inverted narcissist, I can't see why someone would want to remain friends with someone who disrespects them, disregards them, degrades them, clowns them, makes them look like a complete idiot. I cannot, logically speaking, I can't understand why someone would want to remain friends with someone like that if they are of a secure attachment, if they're of secure nature. That's the only reason I could think of someone wanting to remain in a relationship. It's kind of like, I can't get the maximum, so I'll just be satisfied with the minimum. That is someone who is codependent. That's someone who fears being alone. That's someone who fears abandonment. And that if that narc ex is still friends with the ex prior to you, chances are that ex is also another victim. Okay. And, we all know when it boils down to narcissists, it's about supply. It's about getting that attention and getting that rise of their ego. So I would strongly say, if you get involved with someone who insists on remaining friends with an ex, who insist on keeping people around that they have dealt with in the past, and they just keep, oh, we're just friends. Nothing happened between us. We're just friends. That's a harem, guys. That's a harem. And at the end of the day, when it boils down to that, they are allowed to have their harems. You're not. They're allowed to have people that are attracted to them, that are trying to be, trying to get close to them, trying to be involved with them in some way, shape, or form. They're allowed to have those. You, on the other hand, you're not allowed to have any of those. You're not allowed to have people that would admire you, adore you, because one, that takes the spotlight away from them. Two, that's a threat to them. That is a threat to them, because if there's any possibility of you possibly dealing with someone else outside of them, that's a complete threat to their supply. Okay, that's a complete threat to their supply, the supply that you have been providing them. That's what it is. That's all it is. They don't, and I try to say this with the most easing manner as I can. They don't care about you. They do not care about you. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about your validation. They don't care about anything remotely pertaining to you. They only care about themselves. Their loyalty is to themselves. Your loyalty is to them. Their loyalty is to themselves. They are very self-serving, self-seeking people. That's all they're about. They're about fulfilling their own needs. They're not about being openly vulnerable with you, being emotional, being empathetic, being, generous and caring. They're not about any of those things. I wish that were not the case, but unfortunately that is. And unfortunately, the people that you have dealt with, or the person that you have dealt with, has shown you that. They have shown you that. Ty, sometimes we tend to focus on only the good times when the separation is going on. Absolutely. People tend to, it's that heart where your heart and your brain are fighting each other. Okay. Your brain is trying to tell you, this is what's going on. This is the reality of it. This person that you just saw, this stuff that they're doing right now, this is what they're about. But your heart is telling you, yeah, but you remember that time where they took you for, a horse and carriage ride in the park, or when you guys went to, to the beach with friends and family and you had such a good time, or they sat there and they kissed you on your head and said, oh, I love you so much. Oh, all of that. The heart is treacherous, man. The heart is treacherous. Okay. So you have to be careful with that. That is where that confusion comes in. You have to focus. I will say, don't get stuck in it, but you got to focus on the negatives. You have to focus on the negatives, especially when the negatives outweigh the positives. The negatives will always outweigh the positives. But because you're in pain, because your heart refuses to accept it, at least at that time, it's going to constantly be bringing up. And then you start to rationalize. You'll try to rationalize and you'll try to be like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. That's part of your trauma bond, guys. That's part of your trauma bond. You start to rationalize. You're trying to sit there and say, this person had a rough life. This person had rough relationships. This person, all they need is a little love. All they need is a little bit of, let me just open up some more. Let me give more. You can give and give and give and give. And all they're going to do is take and take and take. That's all they're going to do. That's all they're going to do. They're just going to continuously take from you, because narcissists take advantage. They take advantage. You're going to give me your credit card with a $10,000 limit on it and tell me go and get what you want? You think I'm not going to go and get what I want? You gave me no limit. You just gave me a card with, or hell, you gave me a black card, Amex, no limit. And I can go out there and just run your card every which way, and they will do it. They will do it. You got to be careful. You got to really sit there and say to yourself, as much as you love the person, you cared because you were genuine. Those are your feelings based on what you were contributing to that relationship, to that dynamic. That was based on what you were contributing. That was not based on what they were contributing. It was based on what you were contributing and what they were posing. That's what it's based on. These people are very broken people. And I don't care how well put together they show themselves. how, how they have on, the nicest clothes, they wear the most expensive name brand stuff, and they drive the fanciest cars. Chances are they had to manipulate to get that stuff. So I don't care how well together they look. And people tend to think that a narcissist, when we say a narcissist internally feels, feels insecure, and they feel, like how when they project onto you, they project on that anger and they project on all that negative crap. That's really how they feel about themselves. But their external is showing you something different. You would never suspect that. You would never sit there and suspect someone being, being that brutal, that brash, that harsh. And that's all how they feel about themselves. Because everything they were giving to you, all that nastiness, all that moodiness, all that, just everything they were throwing at you, that's something within themselves. But most people wouldn't think to say to themselves, you're just projecting onto me because this is how you feel. Because they have it on the outside, they have it as, I'm well put together. I have everything put together. Somatic narcissists, those are the very superficial ones. Those are the ones that are so obsessed with image. They're so obsessed with how they look on the external. But the reality is they're extremely insecure people. And it shows in their behaviors. A lot of somatic narcissists, they'll get surgeries done. They'll do alterations to themselves. They're constantly worried about how they look. They're constantly worried about their physical appearance. They're constantly doing things to keep themselves young and youthful. But most people wouldn't stop to think that. Most people would say, oh, well, she just wanted to, make herself look better and, be more confident within herself. No, she's doing that because she has all the intention to take your man. Straight up. Straight up. That's how somatic narcissists are. Okay? They don't care. And even if they did take your man, and I'm going to tell you something, ladies. Even if they did take your man, they don't care about your man. They don't care about your boyfriend. The boyfriend you had for 5-10 years. The boyfriend that you try to build a life with. The boyfriend that you try to, buy a house with and have children with and have stability with. They don't care about none of that. They just care about the fact that they can sit there and say, I took your man. That's all. They care about one-upping you. They care about being able to say, I'm the shit because I took what was yours. That's all they care about. They don't care about this person. And if they do go ahead and manage to take your person from you, then what happens? They go ahead and they do the same. They run the discard on that person. And they bring that person down to their knees till they can't take it anymore. And then unfortunately, that person is left to come back to you like, so yeah, I made a mistake. I get the hell out of my face with that. All right, let's see. Hi, Jenna. Jenna, I regretfully share with my ex-narc that my non-narc ex and I remained sexual for many years, purely arranged and out of sheer comfort. The ex-narc threw this in my face incessantly. Yes, they will do that. They will, and you know why? It's because it's which is why, it's usually sharing certain things with people, especially manipulators. I mean, clearly you guys wouldn't know because you didn't know when you started dealing with them. You didn't know. Sharing things with these people is a good way for them to exploit you in the end. Okay? Especially if you notice when you were dealing with them, they started a lot of arguments. They started arguments with you. If they wanted to, I don't know, if they wanted to go out there and do something, or if they wanted to get out of the house because they wanted to, be with someone else, or just do something else in general. If you notice, they would start arguments and it would be for no reason. Right? And of course, they would manage to take in little increments, maybe sometimes bigger ones, depending on the type that you're dealing with. They would manage to take what you have told them and throw it at you. Listen, I did that. I went and shared something, and that was thrown in my face in the end. And it was really hurtful. Like that was thrown in my face. And I know, Jenna, you're new. But I did mention it before. I've had very severe issues with myself where I had attempted suicide. And that's not something that's easy to really express, but when you trust someone, or you feel like you can trust someone, you feel like you can talk to them without judgment. Just don't judge me. If I'm going to open up to you and tell you something, just don't judge me on it. And needless to say, I regret expressing that. I regret telling this person that, because at the time when it became necessary to use what I told them against me, and this was during the discard, they will use that during the discard, guys. When this was during the discard, they told me, it wasn't in those precise words. Before you go and try to commit suicide, I'll be with you. No, it was, before you decide to throw yourself off a roof, fine, I'll be with you. Like that, or before I throw myself in front of a bus. Like it's clearly it was indicative of, before you try to kill yourself and I have to have that guilt on my shoulders, fine, Erica, I'll be with you. And it was like, why did I share that with you? Why did I even bother giving you that information, when all you're going to do is use it against me? And they will use it when they are having those narcissistic episodes. They will use that because it's a way to jab at you. It's a way to, like, really they try to go for the jugular. And sometimes, I mean, listen, Jenna, you trusted the person, and there's nothing wrong with that. You tried to trust them. You gave them, you told them the truth. You told them what it was and how it is. But unfortunately, that just gets, it just gets thrown in your face. It gets thrown in your face, especially when they are trying to, a lot of the time it's when when it's really severe and crazy moments, when it's really just, but something, hun, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't say, well, I regret. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it hurts when they throw it in your face, but with that same breath, you got to see what that person is capable of. And you got to see that better now than to ever trust them with anything like that again, with any kind of information like that again. And with learning the behaviors of these types of people, now you know how to use discernment on what you want to share and what you don't want to share. I'm sorry to hear that call out. I'm sorry, hon. And something, I'm glad that you didn't take that route. I'm glad you didn't take that route. I'm glad you're here and you're able to talk about it. It's a lot of the time, people who have had really bad things projected onto them, and by that, whether it be the manipulators, narcissists, whomever, when they have things projected onto them, it creates like a very hard shell. That becomes their defense mechanism. Those projections become their defense mechanism. And they manage to use that in a way, as a form of like ammunition to harm other people, and it's really, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, because you could be a non-narcissist, guys, and you can still be projecting. You can project onto people. Just like, for example, codependent, right? Empathetic codependent. You're projecting your fears onto people. You're projecting your fear of abandonment, which in turn is that clinginess. You're clinging on to something, even though it's not good for you, even though it's not healthy for you. You're clinging on to that because you're being triggered. You're being triggered. It's crazy how A narcissist, a narcissistic codependent and an empathetic codependent can be raised by the same parents, but there are triggers that will make them react differently. It will make them react differently. So a narcissist, when they're being triggered, they become avoidant. They become distant. They just try to push away and go in the opposite direction. When an empathetic codependent is being triggered, they grasp on harder and they become much more clingier, because that fear is like, it's giving them that anxiety of, oh my gosh, I can't let go, I gotta hold on, because it's like being a little like being a child holding on to those life preservers, or those life things that they throw over the boat. A child holding on to it while they're trying to be brought to safety. So it's crazy how two of the most opposite people, I mean, and by opposite I mean one is clearly a taker and the other one is clearly a giver. Two of the most opposite people in how they've internalized their abuse can be brought up by the same person. And it's like, it's just like when oil and water can actually, you see the difference. Like you can see that line right there where they meet up. Okay, let me just go back for a second. Amanda, who is that person? Danielle, I was no longer. So now, aside from all that, there's some interesting stuff going on in the chat, and just making sure, like I said, I already made that clear warning the first time, and it bears repeating. Anyone here looking to bully and and do anything outside of what is authorized in this chat, you will hear my mouth. So I will definitely make that perfectly clear. I will not tolerate flying monkeys. I will not tolerate bullies. I will not tolerate people coming in to start anything with anyone. Any problems, any issues that one has with the person, that is to be taken up with that person. But it's I don't like when people come in here and they just start to try to attack people, or especially on my platform. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not happening. That's not happening. Hi, hello, Kitty. Hi, sweetheart. I don't like any of that. So Jenna, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you got out of that. I'm really glad you got out of that. I'm glad you managed to get away from that, because that's what they will do. Narcissists, manipulators, they will try to really, they'll try to like sting you, really sting you hard. And like I said, a lot of the time that's during the discard, or it's during times where they want to, I don't know, they want to get away, they want to do their own thing, and they want, they feel the need to start arguments, because if they start an argument and it gets too intense, they could use that argument as an excuse to go away, and or you'll end up like saying, just get out, because this is just, I'm not going to sit here and fight with you. And of course they can go out there and do whatever they want to do. And if you notice that they're starting arguments with you for no reason, clearly that means something is up. Hi, Riri. I'm glad you can make it. So, where was I? I'm trying not to get distracted. I'm really, guys, I need another, aside from Amanda, I will need another moderator. Okay. Please let me know if you, just for the lives. So if you're able to do, if you're able to do the moderator thing. Jenna, thank you so much for that, sweetheart. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation, love. But I would need another moderator. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Yoko, you asked me if I was talking about myself. I've always managed to put myself in the mix of it when it boils down to my experience. In this particular situation earlier, yes, I was referring to myself. Okay, Riri, I thank you for your give me 1 second. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate that. I like to just make sure that we, like I said, last week somebody came in and tried to really get me riled up, and I'm like, no. Chatan, one question, Erica. It's been 6 months since no contact, on my way to heal day by day. I don't want to see her again ever in my life. But sometimes I fear that she might hoover someday like a storm. I mean, that, Chatan, that would be probably inevitable. It probably would be inevitable. I mean, the what you would have to do is, as far as your concern, as far as your mental health, your sanity, your peace, things to that, you just have to make sure that you continuously work on it. Okay, continuously work on it. What you should do, and I mean, I could only just give you my advice on it. What you should do is you should continuously work on it as if that person, like if you know that person's going to come into your energy, into your life, like the next day. You understand? Mentally prepare yourself. That's what you should do. So even though you haven't spoken to this person, even though you have not been around this person, but if there is that possibility that this person may eventually come back, each and every day, mentally prepare yourself. Prepare yourself as to, like how you would react, but do it with a force, do it with strength, strengthen that part of yourself. So that way, if the time were to ever come that person decided to pop back up in your life, whether it be another 6 months from now, a year from now, or whatever time, if they decide to do so, you are prepared to handle that. Healing takes time. It definitely does. But this is why I say, don't stay stuck in it, but just think about the negatives. Think about the negatives. And think about the negatives to the point. How I did it was I thought about the negatives to the point where it got me pumped up. It got me kind of, like, wait a minute, kind of mad, kind of upset. But I personally, because, again, I become a very logical person, a very logical thinker. I've managed to utilize that anger and that, that, because I prefer anger over pain. I'll be honest with you. I prefer to be angry than be hurting, crying, and my emotions, feeling completely in despair, going through depression, feeling upset. I prefer to have anger, because that anger will actually, it pushed me to go further. It pushed me to block everything out, block everyone out, and not be energetically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, you name it. I blocked everyone out. And over time, the anger subsided, because with that much anger, it was basically, my heart was no longer feeling it. Now it was all up here. Now it was like, it was kind of like, what reacting to being mind fucked in a way, you know, to say it with the most the most decency I can possibly say it. That's how it was. It was like to the point where my nostrils my nostrils flared up, but it did motivate me. It motivated me and it pushed me. It pushed me out of that depressive, stagnant, hurting, crying state. And it pushed me into that, come and try and fuck with me. Come and try and fuck with me. I want you to. That was my attitude. That was my attitude about it. And believe it or not, Shatan, when you exude that kind of energy, that you're standing in your power, that you are confident in how you're going to react, how you're going to deal with it, you release that kind of energy. People can feel that. People can feel that. They can feel that off of you. And it might seem kind of strong, but you know, narcissists depend on your weakness. They depend on you being weak and, you know, just kind of like crumbling if they come into your presence, which is why a lot of the time when it boils down to the hoovering, you know, if you notice, I don't know how many of you have been hoovered, if you have, or if you've gone through repetitive cycles with the same person. If you notice, they test the waters. They always test the waters because they know how things went down between you. So they're always going to test you. They're going to test your temperature. They're going to want to see where you are in your emotional, your, you know, what they would probably look at as, oh, emotional baggage. You know, they're going to test to see where you are, and if there is a crack that they can kind of slide through. And by that I mean, if there is a way to get back into your good graces, even if it means saying, hey, can we just forget the past? Can we just start over? And we don't even have to be in a relationship. We don't even have to be involved. We could just be friends. I just, you know, I miss my friend and I'm sorry and this and that and all that bullshit. And it's a way to get you to forget, to try to forget that what they did to you, because they are not going to take any kind of accountability for their actions. They'll more than likely deflect and try to blame other things, you know, and saying, well, I went through this and I went through that and I was in a bad place in my life, and I don't understand how, you know. Chatan, mentally prepare yourself, okay? Spend every day preparing your mind as if that person is going to be knocking at your door at that precise moment. And when you bring yourself to that point, you're getting out of, you may be in anger for a bit. You may be in anger for a bit, which you have every right to feel it. You have every right to go through it. But it at least gets you out of that pain aspect, that emotional drainage, that heartache, that heartbreak. It slowly gets you out. And then when you get to that point of anger, then you just kind of work around it until it kind of simmers down. And then you're like, I'm not even angry. I'm not, because you want to get to that point of indifference. That's the point that you want to get to. You want to get to the point where the mere thought of them doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you like it did. It doesn't affect you in that way. And if the time comes, if that person decides they want to come back in and test the waters with you, then you could either have a calm sea or you can show them the storm. It's really, I personally say, you know, just don't bother with it. But, you know, I couldn't tell you what to do in that situation. I really couldn't. Let's see. Green, my ex-wife drained me dry. I will never look at relationships the same ever. And you know what? I get that. I understand that completely, Green. I completely understand it. And I get the fact that, you know, we live in a world where you got good people, you got bad people, You got stable people, you got broken people, you know. And I hope that one day, you know, when the time comes that that person, you know, the person who would be clearly meant for you, the person who would treat you with respect and love and decency and everything opposite of what your ex demonstrated with you. I hope that, you know, that would be the finality of it all, and it would take you out of that mindset, because I was the same way. I was the same way. I didn't want to, I was like, I don't want to be involved with anyone. I don't want to do anything with anyone. I just want to be by myself. That's it. And that's what I did. And I stayed like that for a few years. I just said, no, I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it anymore, you know? But it's just that harnessing that energy, that residual energy, you know, and of course the lack of trust, because you've lost trust, and now it puts you in that fear of, I can't trust people. I can't trust anyone again because of what happened to me. But, you know, I can truthfully say I am a victim. I am a victim of paying for the mistakes of someone else, someone who tried to give me a chance. And I ended up paying for the transgressions of other people who have lied to this person, who have hurt this person, who have, you know, been disloyal to this person. And it's a very sucky feeling. So if you do decide that you no longer want to be in, like, never want to be in a relationship again, I mean, that's perfectly your prerogative. The only thing I can say in regards to that is just keep your relationships casual then. Have a mutual agreement with another person and keeping things casual and not having anything serious. And that way, at least, you know that you won't be setting any expectations, nor will you be having any expectations. You both are just going to keep it on whatever level it is, whether it just be physical or just something casual. So, guys, another few more things I actually wanted to talk about in regards to your narcissistic ex. Now, clearly, and some of you, I'm pretty sure, have gone through this, and if anyone watches this while it streams, I'm pretty sure they've, you know, gone through it too. They only want you if they see you moving on. They only want to deal with you or bother with you if they see that you are, you know, you're trying to pick up the pieces and you're trying to have your own happiness. Or if they see you with someone else. Remember what I told you guys earlier? You know, narcissists, they don't care about the person. They only care about having control and being able to say, I took this person from you. I took your girlfriend. I took your boyfriend. That's the only thing they care about. When it boils down to you and your narcissistic ex, if you get to a point where you are becoming happy, you are actually feeling that peace again, you're actually, you know, enjoying life again, you're becoming whole again, you are, you know, in hell, you're shining, you know, you guys got that glow up, you are moving on with your life and you are just doing your thing. You may be under the spotlight, you may be, you know, getting attention. Because see, here's the thing, guys, I want to make this perfectly clear, okay? And forgive my French. Remember who the fuck you are. Remember who you are. Okay? You have options. You have always had options. You've always had options in your relationship. You've always had options in your dynamic, but you chose to be loyal to that person or these people. You've always had options, guys. You chose to be loyal. You chose to be with this person. Okay? You have done what not many people are good at doing. You have kept honesty. You kept loyalty. You had devotion. You had love, unconditional at that. You had all of these things. Yet you still had options. You had options. See, it's so, you know, it's okay for them to have options, right? It's okay for them to throw it in your face. Well, I got options. I got options. You know how many of these guys want to get with me? You know how many of these girls want me? And they're sitting there posing and taking pictures and, you know, and doing all of this. Mis amores, you guys have options too. Okay, didn't you know that? Because if you didn't know, now you do. You have options. You have options to be with whomever you want. You have options to go wherever you want. You have options. Okay? I know it seemed like you didn't, and that's because you chose to be loyal, but you have your options. And it's up to you to decide if you want to go ahead with those options. Oh, EJ, thank you, sweetheart. It's up to you to decide that, if you want to go through with that. And it's because of the fact that you were so embedded and so invested in this person, and it's not only with love, guys. I mean, it's with family too. Okay, it's with family too. But I have a feeling that majority of it has to do with romance. So we do talk a lot about romance, but you were given that, false impression. Your loyalty is to me. Okay? Your loyalty is to me. And I'm going to show you what you would be losing if your loyalty was not to me. And they managed to show you that, oh, well, look, I got all these options. I got people on me. I got people who want me. I got people who desire me. I have this, I have that. And the only reason why you looked at it like you didn't have options was because you were isolated, whether it be by the narcissist or just based on your loyalty to this person. You isolated. You basically was just so devoted to this person. You were just so focused on this person. They didn't want you to know that you had options. They didn't want you to know that you can possibly, no, not possibly, that you could do better. They didn't want you to know these things. You have options, guys. And you know something? The minute you start to understand that, whenever that is, and the minute you start to actually go, the minute you start to actually go forward and move on to those options and try to figure out which would be best suited for you, because you're ready, because you're in that state of mind, you're in a better place, you're doing everything, that you're doing the work. You're doing the work. You did the work, whether you were codependent, whether you were whatever, you did all of the work you needed to do. You realized what you were worth. You realized what you deserved. And you decided to say, you know something? I've spent enough time on my hiatus. I spent enough time trying to heal. I'm ready to have something. I'm ready. I learned my lesson and I'm ready to have something. The minute you do that, that's when they want to pop back up. And that's when they want to see, well, they see you doing good. They see that you're no longer, listen, we've all done it, guys. We've all done it, right? When we put up the posts, we all do that, we put up the little sad posts here and there and stuff. But when you start to put up, I know my worth, I know my value, I'm good, God is good, and you got that strength that you building it up to the point that people are noticing your energy, because you know what you're doing? You're raising your energy. You're raising yourself up. People notice that. They see your confidence. They see you glowing. And then what happens? They become attracted to that. And then when they become attracted to it, they're giving you attention. And I'm not saying do it just for the attention, guys, but it does feel validating and it does feel good. It does feel good because it just lets us know, okay, you know what? I can be a good person. I can be a kind person, a sweet person, and not shit on people. You understand? I don't have to shit on people. I could just be myself and just instantly attract people. And when you start doing that, that's when they start seeing, oh shit, you're not stuck in your little corner. You're not feeling depressed. You're not doing any of these things. You're actually doing better. You're actually glowing. You're actually gaining attention. You got people who are commenting and complimenting you. They see that you're in that spotlight. They want a piece of that too. They want a piece of that too. And they want to come back, try to run some more confusion, try to play that game of let's forgive and forget. Let's try again. Let's see what can happen. Let's see where this goes. And if any of you share a kid with a narcissist, that makes it even worse, because they already know that, look, we already have a connection with one another because we have a child together. We have major history together. Let's give it another shot. Let's give it another shot. Be careful, guys. Be very, very careful, because I can tell you this much right now. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. They will do it again, and it will be worse. It will hurt much more harder, because now that they have to put in the work, if you decided you wanted to take them back for whatever reason, they tugged at your heartstrings, they're willing to prove themselves to you. I mean, I could give you all the forewarnings that I can, but if you decide that this is what you want to do, I encourage you strongly to use discernment, because the manipulation will become much more, it will be thicker, gaslighting way more. The first couple of months, maybe the first couple of months, or hell, we'll go one better. Maybe the first year, they will appear as if things have changed. Things look different. They seem like they've changed. They seem like they are really sorry. They seem like they are really trying to make this work. They're trying to make this happen. But slowly they'll start to revert, and they'll go right back to doing the same things that they did the first time. And it'll be worse. The discard will be a lot worse. It'll get you to the point where it's like, and it's crazy, because when you've experienced your first ever discard, the first thing you ever thought was something was wrong with me. They're discarding me because something was wrong with me, because I was lacking something. I wasn't contributing something. There was something wrong with me, that I couldn't keep this person, that I couldn't hold on to them. And that's all because they deflected all that blame onto you. So if you ask them, why did you cheat on me? Well, you were never around. You were never around. You were never giving me attention. You were always, constantly working, or you were doing this, and you were doing that. It all starts with you. It all starts with you. Never mind the fact that they decided to entertain someone outside of your relationship, because that's where it starts. And in order for them to do that, what does that entail? That entails being sneaky, right? Right? You gotta, because if you're doing something outside of your relationship, you have to be sneaky with it. They're not just gonna be like, oh, I miss you, baby, and blah blah blah. In front of they're not gonna do that. They're gonna be sneaky with it. That right there, when they start having private conversations, when they start talking to people on different, online or whatever the case may be, that's where it all starts. And it's because of their own selfish reasons. It had nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Now, unless you were beating the crap out of them in the bed with a baseball bat every night, I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. Ty. Yes, love. It is definitely a spiritual warfare. It definitely is. Butch. I didn't do the work on myself. Started dating someone and I hurt them really bad. Since then, I've done the work on myself and made my admin to that person that could have been my forever. Well, you know what, Butch? I'm a firm believer of what is meant for you will always be for you. Will always be for you. Whatever is meant for you will always be for you. It was a lesson you had to learn. It was an experience that it's an experience that people have to go through. You did make your amends with that person. And who knows? Maybe in the future, they can come to the terms of, complete forgiveness, and maybe you guys will cross paths again. I believe things happen for a reason and things don't happen for a reason. And at the end of the day, I can be honest with you, Butch, with everything that you experienced. that was probably because one thing I've learned is that God's going to allow certain things to happen when he knows what's going to happen in the future. Okay. And in that case, it probably was supposed to happen that way because you were trying to get over someone else by dealing with you were trying to get over your previous by dealing with someone else. And it would not have been genuine. Your relationship would not have been genuine. Your relationship would have been filled with nothing but trauma, paranoia, anxiety, probably constant arguments. You probably, because you have such trust issues, you probably would have been in the relationship with her for, whatever period of time, and you probably, based on your trauma, would have ended up pushing her away or severely damaging her any more than what had transpired. So it was supposed to happen that way. You made your amends, you apologized to her. Okay. So that says a lot about you. That lets you know that you never, hi Heather. That lets you know that you were not being intentional. You weren't being intentional about it, and you weren't trying to, you weren't trying to put her in a position like you were put in. So, it's a good thing that it happened. And as soon as it did, as opposed to you being with this person for a whole year and becoming, because with your trauma, you would have ended up becoming the villain. You would have been the perpetrator, and that person would have become a victim. And I remember when I said before, I said it's important to work on your healing because victims can often become villains if they don't work on themselves. A narcissist is a victim of narcissistic abuse. They're a victim of narcissistic abuse. They just became the villain and they never stopped. That's the only difference. So you can become a villain. You can become the perpetrator. I mean, if narcissism is not in your if narcissism is not a form of being your MO, if it's not something that was within your environment your entire life or the majority of your life, you can have narcissistic traits. You can have the traits, okay? Anybody can have them. And even though you may not be classified as a narcissist or diagnosed as a narcissist, you can be diagnosed as someone who has extreme narcissistic traits. And that's because you internalize the abuse from the narcissist that was in your life. You never healed from it. And you end up projecting that same abuse onto the next person that you're dealing with. So I know it kind of it stings. I know that much. And I'm pretty sure it stung her. But that was pretty much God doing you both a favor. Because he was not going to allow you to become like that. And he was not going to allow an innocent person like that to go through that. I mean, whatever her path is, whatever he has designed for her, and if she's following it, he's not going to let anyone interfere with that. No one. So I strongly believe a lot of us who've gone through these situations, guys, it was because we needed to go through it. And it's not to say that you should have gone through it, but I'm a strong believer that when there are certain traumas within us that we have to bring out, that we have to break out, those generational curses, yes, we are going to come across people like this to teach us something. They're here to teach us something. That's all it is. So yeah, guys. So yeah, I was basically saying, in regards to you finding your own happiness, them wanting to come around, that's the only reason they want to be around in your life. It's because you're in the spotlight. You're basically doing your thing. You're doing it without them. Naturally, that will trigger jealousy because, a narcissist, they are not happy for anyone else's success, especially if they can't claim credit on it. They can't claim credit on your success. They are not really happy for you. But they will try to be a part of it. They will try to be a part of it. They'll try to be that one that's, after everything they did, everything they said, the way they treated you like an option. They made you feel like you were nothing. They pretty much shitted on you. When you get, you're getting back your A game and you're getting back into your spotlight, and you're being noticed, you're being watched, you're being, commented, complimented. You just got all of this going for you. They want to have the audacity to try to just be like, oh, let me come back in, because now you the shit. They go for whatever's going to make them look good. So if they didn't feel like you made them look good before, or your loyalty was desperation, because that's pretty much how it is, what gives them the right to come and say, well, I'm ready to be a part of your life because now you're doing your own thing, you're becoming a success, and I'm and they feel entitled to that. They feel entitled to that, guys. And the reason, and it's crazy how people will look at it and be like, wait a minute, how the hell does this person even think that they're entitled to what I have when I worked hard to have this? Because they'll run that whole, listen, we got a lot of history together. We've been with each other for so many years. We've been in each other's lives. Why are we doing this? Why are we acting like this? Come on, let's not be like this. Don't be like that. Let's just try to, oh, wait, I'm sorry, guys. Hi, Stella. They try to give you that, let's not be like this. Let's just, leave the past in the past, and let's work on now. Let's work on today from here on out and into the future. Twat. That's all I'm gonna say. So as far as the repetitive cycles are concerned, because remember I told you guys, if you dealt with repetitive cycles with the narcissist, with the same person, it's really to cause more deep-rooted damage. It's just to damage you more. It's to, because I guess it just bears repeating, and I'm one who likes to reiterate because I want everyone to get it in their head that you guys are worth way more than any of them have ever made you feel. Because they know that you deserve better. Because they know you deserve happiness. They, when they're in the dynamic with you, will do any and everything possible to really damage you as a person, damage your self-esteem, damage your confidence. And it's pretty much to mold you. It's to make you who they want you to be when they want you to be it. That's all it is. So when they decide, or if they decide, oh, thank you, Stella. I'm sorry, guys. My name is Jeff. Yeah, I don't really. Thank you, Green. Jeff, is that a serious question? Because I don't give advice on how to break up with anyone. I don't give advice on that. That's not what I do. Yeah, no, I'm looking at the comment, and it's like, it's just everybody's just coming out tonight, ain't they? Ain't they? It's kind of like I got the flashing lights around me. My goodness. Yeah, Jeff. I don't know if that's a serious question or not, but I don't give advice on, as far as, as far as advice in regards to, because I don't know the circumstances, I really don't. I couldn't even. Is your girlfriend a narcissist? That's got to be my first question. Is she a narcissist? Is she one who? Hold on a second. if she is, I would first like to confirm if that is the case, or if she's very narcissistic, or because again, I'll be like 1000% honest with you, because everyone here knows that I am. She has traits of a narc. I mean, if she is on on the spectrum, and she basically falls under the category of everything that we discuss, um, in that you fear, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one of the traits, at least. They can never be wrong. Um, Here's the thing: if that is the case, and she is on the spectrum, understand that rejection will not be taken lightly. It will not be taken lightly. Okay. And by that I mean, you're when you are bruising someone's ego, especially someone who falls on the spectrum, or who has a lot of traits of a narcissist or a manipulator, that can trigger narcissistic rage. That can trigger it can trigger a lot of things. I don't know the nature of this person. I don't know if they have a tendency to get violent. Narcissists do have a tendency to get violent. um as far as ending things with this person, I mean, one of the things they say is, when you're trying to, leave a narcissist, or yeah, I suggest you get all your stuff first. Do you guys live together? Do you guys like? Because if she has access to your things, yeah, don't do anything until you get all of your property first. Okay. I will not say break up with someone, especially someone who has traits, or who has, capabilities of being very narcissistic. You do not go breaking up with them while they're, they have access to your things, your property, your clothes, and things like that. Everything has to be done meticulously. You can't just say, "Oh, it's over between us, and that's it. Go your way and I go mine." And she might end up doing some wait until exhale type shit. I mean, they are capable. Yeah, I would strongly say first, because if you're dealing with someone who's an extreme manipulator or very narcissistic, you have to be meticulous about it. You can't just, do it through a text message, or say, "Hey, let's break up. It's over. It's done with." That can trigger narcissistic rage. That can trigger a lot of things. And I'm almost probably sure she will not let up easily. It's not going to just be like, "All right, fine. You go your way and I go mine." I mean, people take breakups hard as it is. People who are not narcissists take breakups very hard. So someone who is in fact, or who has the severe traits of a narcissist, will not take it very easily. They will not take it very easily. You have to be very meticulous in dealing with this type of situation. Okay. And it does not mean that the breaking things off, or the releasing them, or letting them go, is going to be very easy. It's not going to be easy. It really isn't. And chances are, even after you have ended things, it ain't over for her. It ain't over for her. But if you do decide to, end things, and you decide to tell this person that you want it to be over, you got to understand something. And I'm going to make this clear to you. If she is in fact on the spectrum, there's no going back on that, man. There really is no going back on that. Because when you reject someone of that nature, you are not only bruising the ego, you're giving them narcissistic injury. Okay. I've done a video on narcissistic injury, and I strongly advise, if you are dealing with a female narcissist, or female narcissist or a female with narcissistic traits, look at the female narcissist videos that I've done, and it'll kind of, fill you in on what they're capable of, before, during, and after a discard, especially if you end up rejecting them. Okay? Rejecting a female who has narcissistic traits or maybe a narcissist or, hell, a sociopath. You have to consider a lot of different things before taking that step. It's not just the, oh, well, it's over and done with. You go your way, I go mine. It was nice knowing you. It don't work that way, unfortunately. You're dealing with the kind of person that nobody likes to be rejected, period. Nobody likes to be rejected. But if you're dealing with someone who is a narcissist or narcissistic, they loathe being rejected. And they look to make people's lives miserable if they are rejected. You have to be very, very extremely careful. Yeah, like EJ says, because it's rejecting them can be very it can pose as a problem for you. This is why I say you have to be meticulous. You have to be very careful, and you have to be methodical. You got to think it out. Like, you got to draw out a blueprint of how you're going to handle this type of situation before you actually move forward. Before you move forward with it. But yes, love and peace. Narcs can be dangerous and deadly. Yes, they can. Extremely dangerous. And it doesn't even have to be like physically dangerous. They can be dangerous to your reputation. They can be dangerous to your work. They can be dangerous to, just your life in general. So it doesn't just have to be something where it's like physically crazy or, abusive. I'm anxious. She'll lock me in and not let me out the flat when I visit. You can't see someone within their home. You can't do that. You have to do something. When you do something, you got to do it in public. You can't go over to someone's home that you fear may be on the spectrum, okay? Because they'll have the home court advantage. You can't give them that. You cannot give them that. If you are going to do something, like I said, first of all, make sure all of your stuff is out of that person's house. That's the first thing you want to do. Because guarantee, if you leave anything in that person's house and you decide to do this, you better believe she's either selling your stuff on eBay or she's setting it on fire and throwing it out the window. Okay? So you can't go and you can't just do it like that. Like, oh, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, I'm gonna grab me a frappuccino and say, hey, we need to talk. And then you're gonna sit down and talk with her and say, yeah, so we're breaking up. Bro, if it's that easy, trust me, a lot of these guys they'd have been okay, but it's not that easy. Not when you're dealing with someone who may be on the spectrum. So guys, so yeah, another thing that I wanted to talk about, besides, because we've pretty much gone over everything as far as like your narcissistic ex, okay? Whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, whether you're with someone of the opposite sex or someone of the same sex, your narcissistic ex is pretty much just there for their own needs, okay? They're all about themselves. They just want whatever is going to make them look good, feel good, and that's just the way it is. So if you've constantly gone through different cycles with the same person, now you know why that is. It's not really about caring about you or what you have going for yourself or being supportive of you or being loving and generous, caring and giving. It's none of those things. It's to pretty much gain whatever they can out of your life. Okay, whether be materialistically, financially, what have you. That's all it is. And a lot of the time, I also want to make this very important, because when I say they exploit and manipulate your codependency, this goes for family and romantic relationships. Okay, they like to exploit your codependency. They like to basically have that leverage. If they know that you're a codependent, or if they have like that idea, that you basically rely on them, because remember, they spend time Aside from the fact of you being a codependent, they've managed to spend time in that dynamic, making you dependent on them. Okay? They make you dependent on them, whether it be emotionally, financially, materialistically, whatever the case may be. They work hard to make sure you are dependent on them. Yet, they're not dependable people. Do you understand what I'm saying? They make sure you're dependent, but they are not dependable people. They're not reliable people. They just want you in the position to be dependent on them, to so they can pretty much have those, those puppet strings on you. I notice this a lot with family dynamics though. Like family dynamics when you have narcissist parents, and the reality of it is that they really rely, it's like that codependent relationship. They rely really on their children, but they've managed to manipulate the dynamic so much that they made it to where the child is dependent on the parents. Narcissist parents, I don't know, if any of you have a narcissist parent, but they really work hard to sabotage their kids throughout their life. So that way the child or the children can actually support the narcissist parent, be there to take care of the narcissist parent. And in that they make the child, the household responsibilities, they put that onto the child. Okay. Which is pretty much like, it's like to say, okay, you have a narc mom and her child is living with her. It's her apartment, it's her home, but the child is living there. The child who's living there makes money, they work or whatever the case may be, but they never seem to have money because they're too busy taking care of stuff in the house. And the narc mom has set it up that way. So she set it up to where you're going to live in my home, you're going to pay these bills, you're going to pay the rent, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, listen, whether the narc mom is working or not, she set it up where her child is going to take care of everything. And yet that child doesn't have enough to live on their own, to be out on their own, to do any of those things. That's pretty much set up to where the parent made it that way. They're sabotaging their child to financially take care of things, to be stuck in that dynamic, all while they're simultaneously manipulating their child to believe that, well, listen, I'm the only one who has your back. I'm the only one who you can rely on. You're going to stay here. You can stay in my house. You're staying in my home. You do have to pay bills. You have to take care of these things, or they will, take advantage of their kids as well, knowing that their kids don't make that much money, but leaving their kids to take care of the responsibilities in the home. Naturally, a narc parent who does that will throw in that family card. Okay. I'm your family, you're my family. Technically you're supposed to be taking care of me. I took care of you your entire life. So now it's your turn. And, if you decide that you want to have autonomy, you want to be on your own, do your own thing, boom. It's, it's impossible to do it because you've spent all your money taking care of the household, taking care of the parent, taking care of the responsibilities. Now you have no money to get out on your own and do your own thing. Yeah, Jeff, I would strongly advise that you get your stuff out of that house first. And then when you do decide to speak with her in regards to what you want to do as far as your relationship is concerned, you do that in a public place. You don't do that. Don't do it in her place, in her apartment. Hell, don't do it in your place, in your apartment. You do it in a public place. How about my app? I just got 5 unwanted numbers that called since we've been in the chat. Be careful with that, guys. They got apps where you can get fake numbers. This is why I tell you guys, if you just change your number. Change your number. Okay? Don't waste your time. Change your number. Trust me, you change your number, they have no way of contacting you. At least not through the phone. Yes. See, Jeff, listen to what Love Peace says. They call the police and reverse everything, having us look like the abuser. It's twisted. That's exactly how female narcissists work. Okay? Female narcissists are like that. They will, this is why I say don't do this in the privacy of her apartment. Don't go over there. Okay? Because if that's the case, and I'll give you a scenario. If it is the case that you will be dealing with someone and you are going to, you're trying to break things off, you're rejecting her, right? And if this is the case that she is on the spectrum, or if she, listen, well, I'll just be really 100 with you. If she's just a bitch, okay? If she's just a bitch. Females have a tendency, especially manipulative, conniving females, have a tendency to manipulate the situation. And in this case, if you're going to her house and you guys are alone and you are rejecting her and you are saying, I don't want to be with you, it is over. And then all of a sudden, she's mysteriously flying across the room and you ain't never touched her, okay? And she's doing all kinds of stuff. I'm not saying she will do this, but it's possible. She's doing all kinds of stuff, possibly trying to hurt herself or tearing things up, whatever the case may be. Cops get called. Who do you think is going to get arrested for that? You have to think about that too, honey. You got to think about that. Riri, my narcissistic mother would criticize my sisters and I as adults because of our life choices. Meanwhile, she married a serial killer in prison for life. Wow. Wow. You know, and it's crazy, Riri, because you have people that are like so codependent, and they're such enablers. They're enablers, but they don't see, like, as an enabler, they don't see the negatives. They constantly try to see the positives, or in most cases, they try to look at like the benefit, like, you know, enablers do. They give the benefit of the doubt. They try to do that, like give that whole benefit. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. No, this person went to jail for murdering, 5-10 people, but I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what happens. Like, honestly, that's how an enabler is. An enabler is like, and it's crazy. Here's the crazy thing about it. As an enabler, you don't see the wrongs in the dynamic in your own life. But if you are another person standing outside of someone else's life and you see that, yes, you will have an opinion on that. That's the crazy part about it. As an enabler, we couldn't see what was going on in front of us. But yet, if we're standing looking at someone else's relationship, seeing everything because we're on the outside looking in, we have something to say about that. We have an opinion on that. But yet we can't, we couldn't get a hold of our own situation. We couldn't see through our own situation, but we can see through other people's situations. Isn't that crazy how that is, guys? That is crazy. Yeah. I think I'll do the taking out the trash thing for my clothes and then try and start the conversation outside the flat. Yeah, I'd say do it in public. Do it in public. Do it where there are witnesses, where there are people can see. It's just always better to do things like that where you can have people that may be able to testify on your behalf if anything comes of it. I think that's the one thing that a lot of men who deal with female narcissists, who clearly don't realize they're dealing with the female narc, but that's kind of the one mistake that a lot of men make, where they don't really realize. And and it's not to say it's your fault, guys, because it's not, but the tendencies that a female narcissist has, especially when they're being rejected, they will try to destroy your life. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. They are so hurt by the narcissistic injury, they will try to destroy your life. And if they're any good at it, if they're really good at the manipulation and being conniving, they will succeed at it. They will succeed. This is why it's important. It's important that you practice safety measures. It's important that you cover your own. This is what we used to always say at my job. Cover your own ass. Always cover your own ass. Always make sure that you have every end covered, because you just don't know what may be up another person's sleeve. You just don't know. And just remember this much. Like I said, if you decide to reject, if you decide to discard, if you decide to let go of a narcissist, regardless of what happens, regardless of what the outcome is, there is no turning back on that, guys. There is none. Because I can guarantee you this much. With narcissistic injury comes rage. And with rage comes revenge. And if you, in the future, ever decide, oh, we're going to give it another shot, you better believe they're aiming to get revenge on you. You won't know when. You won't know how. You won't know where. You ever reject them, you ever put up boundaries, you ever say no to them, you better believe if you ever decide that you, at some point, would ever try to give it another chance because they managed to convince you that they have changed, situations have changed, better believe they're working on that revenge. They're working on that revenge. Because trust me, ain't nothing worse than an injured narcissist or a manipulator or a sociopath. Ain't nothing worse than them feeling rejected because they see you in your power, you're doing your thing. Nope. It'll be worse if they discarded you. The next cycle would be bad as far as the abuse is concerned, as far as everything is concerned. But it'll be a lot worse if you got a narcissist with revenge on the brain. It will be way worse. You know why? Because they're going to make it their business to show you can trust me again. I don't care if it's a year. I don't care if it's 5 years from the time that you get back together. They will make it their business to prove to you. That's the only time they will put in the work, guys. To prove to you that you can trust them. You can be vulnerable with them. And the minute you let down your guard, may not even happen when you do let down your guard. May happen later than that. It'll happen when you least expect it. Okay? It's called a preemptive strike. It'll happen when you least expect it. And then that's when it's really going to hit you. Exactly. See, Rose says 100% yes. My ex-sociopath. I once asked him what hurt him, and he said me rejecting him. They fear that rejection. This is why I tell you guys, a lot of them do not come to apologize to you for whatever pain they put you through because they fear the rejection. Aside from the fact of not taking accountability, they fear rejection. If they have it in their mind that you will not accept them back, if they have it in their mind that you will not be receptive, you won't be welcoming or open to them, that fear of rejection will literally keep them back. It'll keep them at bay. It will keep them at bay. Yep. But yes, guys. So be careful with that, guys. Please be very, very careful. Yes, they're very vengeful and very vindictive, especially if you tell them no. If you tell them no. Nope. If you say no, if you don't give in to their advances, if you don't give in to their attempts, if you don't give in, because females, like, you have female narcissists. You got male narcissists that are like that too. They'll use sex as a tool to try to get you, to lure you back in. Okay. They may try to, because they already know, they've already had you, they were in a relationship with you, and then boom, they'll try anything. They will try anything. And if you're resistant and you stick with that, and you say no, it's done, it's not happening again, we're not doing this again, it's like they go on a mission. They go on a mission, even if they're with new supply. They go on that mission, man. And like I said, if you decided to cut ties with them and completely do not go back. Don't go back, guys. Please don't go back. But I believe my ex is cerebral. She's a master manipulator. She has ruined what I thought was my life. Things slowly coming back together is because of the information received. Oh, you're very welcome, love. You're very welcome. I'm glad we're able to, give you what you need to help you move forward with it. To help you, because you have so many people that are stuck. They're stuck, like they don't know what to do or they don't know how to feel. And, we have to really consider that these people are just like us. They bleed just like we do, guys. They bleed just like we do. Okay? I told unless they bleed gold, because if they do, I mean, hey, listen, I could always use some gold in my life, but they bleed just like you do. They're human just like you are. Okay? Don't let the false mask, the ego, the huge ego, don't let that fool you. Don't let it fool you. Don't let the behaviors that, that they've managed to project onto you and make you feel like, something's wrong with you. Don't let any of that fool you. Don't. You have options. Remember that. You've always had it. You've always had options. It was just you were led to believe that you didn't. You were led to believe that your loyalty, your devotion, your love, when things got boring, when things just, didn't do for them anymore, was desperation. It's like, oh, you didn't know? And the thing is that during your relationship, even though you were devoted to them and you were providing the best you could, they still, I mean, everyone's different, but they still managed to throw it in your face. Well, if you don't give me what I want, if you don't give me the attention, if you don't give me the admiration, if you don't give me that narcissistic supply, there are plenty of people who are willing to give it to me. And that right there is your cue. They may not say it in those words, but they're telling you in so many words. That right there is your cue to, all right, go for your options then. Go ahead. Dude, my treasure chest is filled with gold. Okay, you got 3 of them. 3 more of them over there. But you don't know what's inside of those. So if you want to give up gold to go for your options, go right ahead. But best believe when you turn around, it won't be here anymore. It will not be here anymore. Stella, my ex-narc said to me, I'm perfect and rare. And clearly, Stella, we know, number one, that does sound like love bombing to me. You are unique in your own way. You're a beautiful woman. When someone tries to lay it on a little too thick, in that they try to say, you're the perfect person, you're the soulmate, you're my soulmate or whatever, and they just like, in the beginning, because a lot of narcissists like to love bomb in the beginning of relationships. They like to kind of get things going for whatever their reasons are. Clearly, you're a beautiful woman. And clearly, you, much like myself, know that you are, the phrase, the term I like to use is perfectly imperfect. Okay? And when it comes to someone, I don't know about you, when it comes to me, I never felt comfortable being praised. I never felt comfortable with that. I don't know. It's just, like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're a queen, you're blah, 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 whatever. I never felt comfortable with it. But under most circumstances, when it boils down to someone, or even, people like praising you, like really, really laying it on thick, you got to be careful with it. You got to be. Because it's amazing how they could tell you you're perfect in every way. You're a soulmate. I love you. I never felt this way about anyone. I never, I never did this and blah, blah, blah. And all of that, right? All of that's fine and dandy. But what happened when the discard came? What happened when the discard came? There was no more of that lovey-dovey love bombing stuff, right? There was no more of that soulmate talk and it was no more of that. No, it was nothing but harsh words, disrespect, degradation, just manipulation, everything. That's what it was. So, Gina, Eric, I have just one last question. I found myself over-explaining due to my level of confusion and despair. And his lousy rebuttal was, I don't like when you talk about me or us. It's too much. He's deflecting. When it comes to, well, look at that statement. I found myself over-explaining due to my level of confusion and despair. No such thing. You were basically, when you were speaking to him, you were pointing out shit and he didn't like it. You were pointing out things and he didn't like it. And because when it comes to confusion and despair, I don't really believe there's any such thing as over-explaining. There is, I'm trying to, you probably felt like you were trying to help him understand where you thought you were over-explaining things to him. You weren't, honey. You weren't. You were explaining it just fine. He just kept trying to deflect. He kept trying to deflect because you were saying something that he didn't like. When you're saying things that they don't like, when you are pointing things out to them, you're bringing things to their attention that clearly are negative, if it's criticism, whatever the case may be. If it reflects on that person negatively and it's not giving them the outcome that they want, they'll deflect. So he was just pretty much deflecting. He's kind of like trying to block your words, hon. That's all he was trying to do. And then he's telling you, you're talking too much. It's too much. I can't take it. I don't know what you're talking about. You're driving me insane and all this BS, because that's exactly what that was. You were telling him something he did not like, and you were onto something, and he was trying to deflect it. You're always going to find yourself defending yourself. Because, the gaslighting and manipulation can only go for so long. And then after a while, that starts to wear off because you start to see, and there's little holes. You get little holes in there, and then you start to see certain things. And when you start to see certain things and you're starting to bring things to the attention, what happens? Now they got to figure out another way. So it's like they got to throw a lie on top of another lie. And they got to constantly keep you off the scent. But it works for so long. And then after a while, and then when you start saying, this is how I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't look right, I'm confused with this and that, you're telling them something that does not reflect, that does not end in something positive under the under their belt. It sounds like criticism. It sounds like you're seeing through my bullshit. So I gotta say something to have you leave me the hell alone. That's exactly what that is, love. Trust me, sweetheart. You were doing the right thing. You were doing the right thing. What made you decide to go back to school for psychology? Was it just the Narc Ex or more? Just curious. It's a mixture. It's a mixture because I took criminal psychology when I was first in school, but it's a mixture. But it did push me in that direction. It did push me in that direction. Like my experience pushed me to you know, because this experience helped me first learn about myself, my codependency. Helped me learn about what traumas I was facing, what issues I was having. And when I got more and more into it and doing this, it just became something, it expanded. It expanded because it's just, I didn't only want to just do it like, you know, just to have a degree and say, okay, I'm a psychologist, or well, actually psychotherapy. But I wanted to really be able to help other people, you know. You have a lot of people who enter the field, not all, but you have a lot of people who enter this field, any kind of field, and have never really experienced it, but because it intrigues them, they take on the subject, they go to school for it. And you do have people who are narcissists who also do it too. But you also have people who have experienced it and they just genuinely want to help people. They just want to help people not go through this pain, or help people get through it. And that's what it's been for me. But I had been interested in psychology since my old college days. And I actually took criminal psychology, because when I started working with, in my job, I started working within law, criminal justice system. I became so intrigued by it. I was doing my studies on, a lot of the Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy. I was doing all of because I wanted to know how the mind operates. And I spent most of my life using my heart. So I figured now it's time to start using my brain. Chatan, one question, Erica. Can these narcs also connect to you spiritually, like a demonic spirit at times? I feel like an evil soul trying to feel me. Is it possible, or are these just thoughts? Depends on how you take it, Chatan. It really depends on how you take it. People can, everybody has different beliefs. Everybody has different ways of processing things. But I do strongly believe, me personally, I believe people, good night, G's. Have a blessed night, hun. I believe that people can throw negative energy if they put enough focus on you. I believe people who get involved in dark arts, who do like things like such as witchcraft, or little spiritual stuff dealing with dark spirits or dark entities or energies, can definitely send things if they put that much intention. I do believe that. I mean, everyone has different beliefs. I don't believe in the devil, but I do believe he exists. And just the same, I believe God exists. So at the end of the day, I mean, you got some, I don't know if it was my mind playing tricks on me, but I've seen spirits and I did not like it. I don't want to see them, but it happens. And at the end of the day, it's just really based upon how you protect yourself energetically. Energy is part of science, right? Energy does not lie. You emit energy. People emit energy. And if people put enough focus on you, they can put enough, especially if it's bad intention, bad thoughts, they can try to manifest negative things in your life. They can try to literally put that on you, especially when you have an energetic cord with people. This is sometimes why if you feel emotions, you feel feelings, and let's say it doesn't feel like it's your own, you have to go deep. Really, meditation is good. Meditation is really good. You have to go deep within, because you can have someone energetically trying to attack you. And when you're sitting there, if you're sitting there watching TV, you're having, just a fun day or whatever the case may be, you may think it's a depression, because they say depression can come at any time. reality is it could be someone's energy. It can be someone else trying to harness their energy onto you. You got to be careful with that. Extremely. Dear Jen, I'm glad. And I thank you. And I thank you. And I was talking to Amanda. I was talking to Amanda about it. And I said, you know, I truly believe the best way, because I believe in earning people's trust. You know, that's just the way I am. I earn your trust, you earn my trust, and, you know, we work it from here. And one of the ways of doing that is for me to be just as vulnerable, you know, with you guys, and letting you know that I know what you've experienced. I've been there several times now that I think of it, because it's been so many different types of patterns in my life. But it does help to know, one, that the person you are connecting with has gone through it and managed to heal from it and managed to, you know, become stronger from it. But two, it's just that level of trust, that vulnerability. You know, I don't feel ashamed. I don't feel like, you know, one thing I say, guys, nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, feel pity for me, okay? Because I'm in a totally different place from where I used to be. And though I do discuss it and I talk about my experiences with you guys, it's to just to remind you that I know where you're at. I know what you're feeling. And people often wonder how I got to the point, or how I am at the point that I am now. And even though there are other people out there who have experienced abuse, narc abuse, sociopathic, psychopathic abuse on a way worse level, at the end of the day, this is not a competition as to who experienced the worst abuse. This is a gathering for everyone to get together and say, I want to heal. You want to heal. We want to heal. Let's all heal together. That's what this is for. But just know that, guys. And I thank you, Stella. I thank you. And just, you know, just know that you're not alone. Even though you're at different levels of different phases of your healing, you're not alone. Not at all. No, call out, you're not. You're not a bad person for having trust issues. It's because it's different people that you've managed to trust, or you tried to trust, managed to show you why you shouldn't have trusted them. You know, it's okay to have trust issues. That's what protects you at times. But people who have the most trust issues are usually the people who have the least boundaries. Because so many, when you don't set up the proper boundaries, people see that and they'll just walk all over you, continuously walk all over you. When you start to set those boundaries and you say, I'm not tolerating this, I'm not dealing with that. When people see that you mean business and you're not playing around, you're not dealing with any of that, that's when they either are forced to come correct or don't come at all. When you set up that energetic boundary, when you set that, like, so what you here for? How can I help you? That boundary is this high. People are either gonna, yeah, I'm just gonna go back that way. That means they had no business being there. They had no business being there. And if there are people that are willing to stick around, it's because they know better than to cross that boundary. If they go beyond that boundary, it's because you invited them, not because they went and took it upon themselves to cross over. That's trespassing. And you don't let nobody trespass on your boundaries. Ty, when are we going to talk about the borderlines? I was actually just talking to Amanda about it. I'm almost done with my notes. So I will be putting up the video on the borderline personality disorder this week. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I did enough proper research and gather everything up, because the videos, it takes me a little bit, because I have to make sure that, you know, everything is done properly, and of course the editing and things like that. But I'm definitely going to have it up this week for you guys. So I'll be setting that up, and I'll put up on the community board. I'll put up when I'm going to put it up. But I just want to make sure, because I whenever I do my videos, like the little short ones, that's just kind of like when I'm compelled and I say, hey guys, just want to let you know, like the little 3-minute videos. But when I do the longer videos, based on studies and research, that I like to take my time with them, because I want to make sure I'm giving you the proper, detailed, and pertinent information that you need for those videos. But I haven't forgotten about you. I got you. Don't worry about it. We're definitely going to talk about that. So guys, it is, I believe, that time. I guess maybe next week I wanted to talk a little bit more about the myths and stuff, which I have a video, guys, also on the myths of narcissism. Okay, like kind of debunking the myths behind it. Definitely check that out, because a lot of people have misconceptions of narcissism, and like it's just like I tell you guys, every narcissist is different. Not every narcissist is going to love bomb you. Not every narcissist is going to be charming. Not every narcissist is going to come off with that generalized type of demeanor, disposition that a lot of people put out there, which is why I focus on the different types of narcissism. So, if you notice on the channel, it's different videos for, malignant, somatic, covert, overt, cerebral, female, male, mother, father, sister, everybody. It's because we gotta like dissect. It's dissecting everything. That's how, we have to make sure that we so at least we know what we're dealing with. Definitely need to know what we're dealing with. Sorry, really? He's silly. He goes, I have to repeat it. He goes, me and my ex are both light skinned. Maybe that's why we didn't match. You're too much. Butch, have a great night. Always a pleasure having you here. Always a pleasure talking to you. And guys, always a pleasure being here with you guys. I love being here with you guys. I love talking with you guys. And you know what? Honestly, even the trolls. You gotta have trolls. That's how you know you're doing something. When people gotta come in and try to take you off and deter you. And I already spoke with Manda on what I would say if somebody really pushed me. But Manda, you can see I stayed away from it, right? I stayed away from it. I stayed away from it all. I thank you, Chitan. I thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It's good seeing you too. I know it's been a while, but just pray on it. Definitely pray on it. Protect your energy. Protect yourself. I've always been told that if you just, you meditate deep within, but you like picture white light, envision white light. I'm not really big on like, candles and things like that, even though people say, oh, light up candles and do this and that. I'm more of, if you believe in God, pray to God, pray for protection, and cast out anything that is being thrown at you or in your home or just in your energy. Cast it out. Just cast it out. If you believe in God, if you believe in Jesus, or, whatever it is you believe in. I mean, I respect everyone's beliefs, but just try to cast it out and just protect your energy. Try to stay positive. Try to keep your environment light. And, just really try to, I have, it's like an anointing oil, and it smells like, it has like frankincense and myrrh. It smells really great. It smells really, really good. And I usually take the anointing oil and I put it on my forehead. And I mean, aside from the fact that, I would do it like when I'm going to bed or when I would pray, the smell of it really calms me down and relaxes me, and it helps me sleep. So maybe, get some candles, scented candles. By that I mean like lavender and things like that may be able to scent up your home. Maybe that'll calm things down, give you more of a relaxing feeling. And you should, but if you for whatever helps you as far as your belief is concerned, definitely pray on it. speak to God or your higher being and ask for the protection. Okay, and hopefully that'll work for you. So guys, okay, green. Green. What did you say? I have a bowl I'm going to pack with some skunk. Be nice. Be nice. There you go, Ty. Keep going. Keep praying. Keep going. God's going to help you through it. God's going to lead you through it. Okay? He's going to lead you through it. He's going to help you through it. And, you know, I put my faith. I took that leap of faith, guys, and I put all my faith in God. And this is where I'm at today. This is where I'm at today because I put all my faith in him. I am here. Okay? Trust and believe. God is good. God is good all the time. And if you believe in God, you know, and you believe in the same God that I do, I would strongly say before you go to bed tonight, pray to him. Okay? Pray in the name of Jesus and just ask for protection, ask to help you with the healing, to do whatever is necessary in your life to help you get through the motions. You will be fine. I promise you guys. I promise you guys. Okay. So, guys, it's that time. It's that time. I have to start getting ready for bed. Long day ahead of me tomorrow. But I love the fact that all of you came out. I love the fact that everyone came in and just, yes, Onitha, of course. Of course. That's how we do it over here. I love that everyone was here, and I love that we all could just be together, not let any negative energies, any negative people try to deter us, try to sway us, try to do any of that. We ain't doing that over here. And I told you guys, I said it. As a matter of fact, I put it in my post. I will stand between you and a narcissist. I do not have a problem doing it. I really don't have a problem doing it because I got a nice stick over there that they can let me calm down because, you know, I might get a little. But guys, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you so much for just making this live, like every other live, one of the just greatest nights. I was exhausted, but you guys really brought my spirits up. Love you too, Heather. Have a great night, sweetheart. Ty, everyone, have a great night. Anyone who is new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified each time I put up a video, and of course when we go live. And definitely check out some of the other content, guys. It may be helpful for you. And if you have any questions, you guys know you can email me anytime. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Leave a comment in the comment section. And if you have any other input to add in, please, by all means, do so, because there are plenty of people who really need the help. So, guys, please be sure to give me a like on the way out. See, I did good today. No cursing, no. I'm going to leave that like that because I'm going in a night. No cursing, no problems, no issues. And I totally just let all the negative haters just fly right over. So it's all good. Much love to all of you. I hope you all have a great night. Be on the lookout for the video bipolar. Oh, I'm going to have to do one on that one too. Borderline personality disorder. Okay, I'm going to give you the traits and how to pretty much spot borderline personality disorder and compare it with narcissism. Okay, so I'm going to definitely be working on that video for you guys. So until then, I will be posting on the community board daily, giving you guys a dosage of positive vibes as I do. And of course, sending much love to all of you, all the good energy, all the yummy energy, all the positive vibes, and casting out any darkness, any evil that is trying to affect your energy, affect your lives. I cast it out for you guys. So don't worry about it. You guys will be good. Have a great week, guys. Have a great night. I love you all. Till next time, guys. See you next week.